Starting in 5 seconds. We stand in the middle of the 20th century, and this period has seen far reaching changes all over the world. There have been wars and revolutions. The tempo of change is very great. Any plan that we make, like this 5-year plan, is subject to the great political, economic, and technological changes that we are witnessing. All of us have some kind of ideology, some kind of philosophy of life. We may not be philosophers, but without some kind of philosophical or ideological approach, we would have no yardstick to measure things by, and yet our ideologies and philosophies of life somehow do not fit in with this middle of the 20th century. This may be due to the fact that though facts change and circumstances become different, we still hold on to all the lines of thinking. The human mind is singularly conservative and it does not change easily. We hold on, if I may venture to say so, to some sort of out of date philosophical or ideological approaches. Take the question of war. Many people say that because of various developments in the world, war has become or ought to become out of the question. War was useful, whether good or bad, if it helped you to realize your objective. When it does not do that, when in fact it does the reverse, then no person should indulge in war. I should like to extend that parallel a little further. If a war, atomic or other, is now something that can only be considered excessively foolish, Cold War becomes more and more absurd. Cold War exists, it goes on, but really analyzed in the circumstances of today, it has little meaning. Likewise, certain other approaches, some economic approaches, which may have a great deal of truth, just do not fit in with the present circumstances. The major fact of today is the stupendous growth of technology, the tremendous growth of the productive apparatus of society, the tremendous power that human beings possesses and are likely to possess in the form of atomic energy. These things are not quantitative changes but qualitative changes in society. Of course, in India, we have not been very powerfully affected by the technological process. We have read about it, but we have no real sensation of it in planning. However, we have to think in technological terms for production of wealth on large scale. We are now going to have annual plans every year. A report of the annual plan will be placed here, which will give a more precise indication of the targets for that year. I hope to place a report of the annual plan of the first year of the second 5-year plan before this house during the next session. We have said that our objective is a socialistic pattern of society. I do not propose to define precisely what socialism means in this context because we wish to avoid any rigid or doctrinaire thinking. Even in my life, I have seen the world change so much that I do not want to confine my mind to any rigid dogma. But broadly speaking, what do we mean when we say socialist pattern of life? We mean a society in which there is equality of opportunity and the possibility for everyone to lead a good life. Obviously, this cannot be attained unless we produce the wherewithal to have the standards that a good life implies. We have therefore to lay great stress on equality, on the removal of disparities, and it has to be remembered always that socialism is not the spreading out of poverty. The essential thing is that there must be wealth and production. There is a good deal of talk about ceilings, and one naturally tends to agree with it because one wants to remove disparities. But one has always to remember that the primary function of a growing society is to produce more wealth, otherwise, it will not grow and one will have nothing to distribute if in the process of fixation of ceiling or in any other method of producing some kind of equality you stop this process of wealth accumulation, then you fail in your objective. Therefore, whether it is in industry or agriculture, the one and the primary test is whether you are adding to the wealth of the country by increasing the production of the country. If not, you become stagnant in that field. In order to reach equality, as I hope we shall sometime or other, we need not follow the road of some artificial fixation of ceilings, but 100 paths which gradually takes us there. An artificial attempt may indeed prevent us from reaching it. Remember this while we plan, while we work, our population also grows. I gave the house just now the estimated figure of our national income in the next 20 years. By the end of that period, the population of India will be round about 500 million. This rate of population growth is not that very great. Stop.